What's up, SR Student Ministry families, parents, whoever's watching this video? Guys, thank you for taking the time to do so. This upcoming week for your students, we're actually going to be discussing the idea of authority, and specifically authority in relationship to the government. As you know, we've been talking about relationships this whole semester, this whole year, and as we've been talking about relationships, we've been walking through what does it look like to have relationships with those who we reject or reject us. What does it look like to have relationships with those who are equals with us? And then what does it look like to have relationships with those who are in authority? And we've talked about God, we've talked about our parents, and now we're actually going to touch on the hot topic issue of government. And I'm going to be honest with you, my goal is not to convince your students to vote a certain way, to see a specific political leaning. Actually, that's the last thing I want to do. That's not what my goal is for this upcoming Sunday night. My goal is to help our students navigate the challenges, the conversations, and process what does it mean to be a Christian in the world of politics, not just in the world of politics, but in the discussion of politics. And what does it mean that we obey the government, right? So we understand that our government is placed in a position voted by the people, right? And there's that side of things, but we also recognize that government officials are specifically and sovereignly placed in the positions of authority by God. And so how do we obey the ultimate authority of God and not obey our government? And that's a question we want to wrestle with our students. And so we're going to help them understand that in the process of obeying our government, we're also obeying God. Now, there are specific times when we are called, when it is unjust, unright, it is in disagreement with scripture that we are called. And I look back to Daniel, right? Daniel was told not to pray anymore, right? That's the whole reason why he was thrown in the den of lions, was because the government said to him, you can no longer pray. And he said, no, I'm sorry. Like, I'm going to pray. I'm going to serve and worship God. And so there are times where it is more appropriate to follow the ultimate authority than those of government authority. But for the most part, God does call us, when it is not in agreement, when it is not in disagreement with scripture, to obey our government authority. And so how do we navigate that? How do we have conversations with that? How do we process that? How do we have faith through that? So a couple of great opportunities for you guys is to talk about that with your students as they get in the car. Hey, like, what did you guys learn tonight? Hey, what are your thoughts on government? Hey, what's a scenario or a situation where it is appropriate for us to disobey, to rebel, because it is in opposition to the Bible, right? Opposition to our ultimate authority. And I'm not trying to insinuate insurrection or disobedience or any of those things. I just believe that we need to be sold out for God. And as a result, when we are obeying the ultimate authority, we are also, when it is in alignment with scripture, obeying those who are placed in authority over us. So lot to process, a lot for you guys as parents to consider and think through. Excited to partner with you guys on this as we continue to just encourage our students to grow, to learn, to love, and to ultimately follow God full-heartedly. Have a great rest of your week, and God bless.